Welcome everyone to Arts Class and Everything in Between. I am your host Eileen, aka Eileen the Crafter. Additional information about this website, the podcast, and my YouTube show, Eileen, the Little Crafter Show, can be found on my website, EileenTheLittleCrafter.com. First off, before I begin, I would like to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, and to my friends and family, happy Thanksgiving. I hope that you guys have fun. I wish I was there with you all. Also, I would like to wish a special happy Thanksgiving to David and Des, my husband and son. Thank you guys for being there, not just for this time of year, but all year round, dealing with the ups and downs. I am so grateful to have you both in my life. Okay, guys, so we are going to be talking about crafting with inks. As if you guys read the description, it's I've been crafting now for about 10 or 11 years, and each and every time you need a refresher, because there's so many different types of inks, and two types, which are categories based on there's dye inks and pigment inks, and each company has their different formulations as a bunch of different colors. So there is a quite a few things to learn, but it's not as intense as you would think. It's fun, and if you're really into crafting or you want to get into crafting, you may want to dive into this a little bit. So I'm going to give you a bit of a head start, I hope, and that if there's any additional information I left out, or if I got it wrong, please email me or leave me a question or answer, whatever the case may be, down below. As always, I love to hear from you guys. So moving right along, right now I'm going to be talking about dye inks. Dye-based inks is the consistency of water. Consistency. Okay, can't talk today. Which means it soaks into the paper and dries quicker. Most of them are not waterproof. Would not be good for coloring images. I would say don't use water-based products to color in an image. I don't think alcohol inks would also be a no-no. And some surfaces, would not be able to handle. I guess maybe glossy surfaces and mulberry paper would not be. I think that because glossy surface has no pores, which basically that's what a pore or porous surface, they need to soak in order to dry. So I think that it would not be and mulberry paper has a lot of pores and is very porous, and it would bleed. So that would be something to look out for. But I would maybe use it for let's say colored pencils. I think that would be a good option for if you guys only have dye-based inks. So moving right along to pigment inks. Pigment inks are thicker in consistency. They do not soak into the paper and take longer to dry for that particular reason. Before I start about the drying, when a dye-based ink dries, it is a little duller. When a pigment ink dries, it's much more crisp because it doesn't soak into the paper. So those are also another difference. The color is great still. And sometimes pigment inks, if I remember correctly, are a little patchy. But once dry, you don't see that little patchiness. They have little light. It looks a little funny, but once they dry, they dry pretty good. Okay, so archival ink is one of. Okay, so I'm gonna list the inks that I use. Archival ink, Memento ink, and Research ink are just some of the inks that I use. Archival ink is from Ranger. It comes in 30 shades or more. It's a permanent ink. It's waterproof. Can be stopped on many different surfaces, and it is. I believe it's also a dye-based ink, but since it's permanent, I think I may have messed that up. I think it's a pigment ink, but again, I will have a link to a blog post if you guys really want to know. You can double check that. I think it's a pigment ink, but not 100% sure on that. Honestly, guys, I'm looking at the package right now. My package is a little whatchamacallit, but basically, reading right off the label, is basically it's can be used with water-based dye inks, acrylic paints, and watercolors, ideal for stamping over alcohol inks. So I'm guessing it would be good for whatchamacallit, goodness gracious, alcohol markers. But again, you can double check with that on the manufacturer or email them. I'm sure they would definitely help you out with that one. Memento ink is from Tsukineko, Tsukineko. I will use their link, what they have down below, so that I can give you the right information. That particular ink is a dye-based ink. It's great for using with alcohol-based markers. Once dried, it could be used for glossy surfaces. If you're going to be using, like, let's say, any type of pigment ink or dye-based ink for a non-porous surface, I think that what would be the best idea, since they take such a long time to dry, but a dye-based ink, because it's not porous, you may want to use an embossing powder, which is basically a powder that once heated, it dries hard. And if you put more powder, it becomes a little bit more thicker. So you can see like a nice little glossy finish or a nice dull finish. It really makes the image or the sentiment image pop out even more or stand out even more. FYI, do not use embossing powder and alcohol markers together. They do not work. They will mess up your markers. That's just a tip that I've learned, and I've heard a lot of, whether it's from, oh my goodness, whether it's any type of marker. So Distress Ink is another Ranger product that I use. And Distress Ink comes in a wide range of products, and it comes in a lot of different formulations. It comes in the stain, it comes in but I'm just going to be talking about the Distress marker, the Distress inks. Inks are wetter. It comes with a felt tip, felt pad, and they are just amazing and fun to use. You can use them for a whole bunch of things, but they are waterproof, so they are extremely reactive with water. So I know that Ranger also makes a sealing something now to seal the image so that it doesn't bleed. But yeah, so that is another really nice ink to use. Great for backgrounds, blending, and shadow, for shadow making and stuff like that. So those are just some of the inks that I use, and I hope that this has been helpful. And again, I will have a blog post for you guys so that you guys know exactly what links to head on over. There's a bunch of different stores out there that sell these. The company sells them, so just head on over to which one. Again, YouTube has a bunch of different information about different inks, and just type in through the little search engine thingy. Oh my goodness, I lost my train of thought. But anyway, guys, happy Thanksgiving. Be happy, be safe, and I will be back next week. Thank you for listening. Bye for now.